All right, YouTube, on this video, we're going to do a review of the new, they're calling it the SAR21R Lishi tool. It's for a Sargent LA keyway. When this was announced, I was excited about it because I do have some Sargent on some of the properties I use, and they can be really tough to pick. So this will make it easier to pick them. However, I have been messing around with it, and it doesn't seem to decode real good on at least one of these three locks that we're about to try here. Another thing to point out is it only goes to number 9 as far as the depths go, and the .20 system has 10 depths. So when we're done picking these, I'll move the camera. We'll put some 10 pins into the lock, and we'll see if the Lishi can actually pick those. I suspect it's not going to be able to. I think they're going to be above the shear line, just putting the tool in. But we'll find that out together here. But we'll go ahead and pick and decode a couple of locks here. I've got this is a US lock kick cylinder here, brand new. Just out of the box here, and the key has bidding stamped on it. 53666 is the bidding on it, and I'll show you here. This does actually make picking very easy. So even if it doesn't decode real good, I think it's probably still worth having because these things can be tough to pick. But you know, like all Lishis here, we'll insert it all the way in, apply tension, and I'm just gonna go ahead and look for binders. Okay, and 5 is binding. And all right, these only come pin 5 from the factory, so there's no 6 pin. Okay, click on 4. Click on 3. Click on 1. And this should be the last one here. I believe we picked everything else. Maybe not. One's still binding. Pick 1 again. There we go. All right, so now we got it picked here. And now that it's picked, go ahead and just show you here decoding it. So remember the bidding on it was 53666 is what the bidding is on it. And we're going to decode it. You see it's actually resting on 6. So if I push it down, it goes to 5, 3. See, I'd be wondering right there on that one. I mean, it's sitting on 7. I can force it to 6. Same with all the 6s. I can like force it to it. But most Lishis, when you decode them, you don't have to do that. It's usually kind of where it stops at, which would be a depth too high on most of these. So it doesn't do a fantastic job on decoding that. But you know, if you can get the door open, you can always take it apart to make a key if you had to. So now I'm going to put in a general lock rim cylinder, and this is also new right out of the box. And bidding on this one is 27316. Insert the tool all the way in. And once again here, just apply some turning pressure. All right, got 5 binding. I think I overset it already here, so let me start over. All right, 4 is binding. Three is binding. Click on 3. And if nothing is binding, then I think I possibly overset something again here, so we'll start over. Sargent locks, you know, they are notoriously tough to pick. I gotta click on 3. All right, click on 5. I think I slightly overset it, but I released tension just a hair while holding the lifter, and I think I recovered it. Click on 2. Oh, sorry, that's 3. All right, 4 is binding. Click on 4. All right, 1 is binding. All right, I've got that one picked here. And we'll try to decode it. So remember, it's supposed to be 27316. And on this one, so make sure you can see it here. So that's almost like between a 1 and a 2. Yeah, that looks like a 7. 3, 1, 6. So this one decoded pretty good. The first one looks kind of tough to read here, but the other ones look like they decoded okay. And I got one more cylinder to throw in here. It's a general lock mortise cylinder. And I'm going to set that rim cylinder aside. That's the one we'll take apart here in just a minute. All right, and this one is also, this one's been rekeyed, but it's never been installed. Here's the key for it. And bidding is 527843 is the bidding on this one. So I'll put our pick in here. All right, so we got that one picked. And go and try to decode this one. Remember, it's 527843 is what the bidding actually is. And we notice here that it drops to 4 when that is definitely a 5. So that's not even close. That's showing 1 when it's a 2. And it's 6. It's basically reading a depth low. And, well, 8 read correctly. That's supposed to be a 4, or it is a 4, and that's a 3. So one space read right, the rest of them all read a depth low. So basically the decoding seems to be all over the place on this. But like I said, it is, I think it's worth having just because picking the locks does seem to work, and these things can be a bear to pick with just regular lock picks. So I'm going to go ahead and move the camera here, and we'll pull apart that rim cylinder, and we'll see if this thing's going to be able to pick 10 cuts or not. I kind of don't think it's going to be, but we will find out here in just a second. All right, so I've got the rim cylinder here. I'm going to take it apart, and I've got right here these 2 pins here are 0.350 inches, and these are 10 cuts, and then I've got 0.330, and those are 9 cuts. So basically I'm just going to throw them in the cylinder. The way we'll tell if you can pick it or not is when we put the Lishi in, if the pin is above the shear line, just inserting the Lishi, that essentially makes it unpickable with the Lishi tool. Now, if you ever get bored one day, you can throw a 7 cut into a quick set, and you'll see what I'm talking about there on that. It goes above the shear line just when you put the tool in, and therefore you cannot pick it with the Lishi. So I'll go ahead and just take this apart here. All right, so I'm gonna go and just throw in a 9, a 10, and a 9 and a 10. Then we're gonna just put the Lishi in, and my guess is going to be that when we put the Lishi in, that the 10 cuts are going to be above the shear line just when the tool goes in, And if that is the case, then it's going to essentially be unleashable if there is a 10 cut, which of course you will not know until you go to try to pick it and fail at it. All right, so now the Lishi is in there, and just like I suspected, you see how the 9 cuts are right at the shear lines. If you pinned a lock to all 9s, the Lishi would turn it as if it was a key, and if you were actually picking a lock with a 9 cut, you would not need to pick that cut. We see the 10 cuts though. Hang on here, sorry about that. See, the 10 cuts are above the shear line just with the tool inserted, which essentially makes it unpickable because you've already overset the 10 cuts just by inserting the tool. So I guess my overall takeaway from this, I think it is worth having because the Sargent, Sargent LA keyway is tough to pick. Decoding there just seems to be all over the place. So for key making, maybe not so great, but like I said, I think overall it is worth having just in case you ever got to open these things. That kind of easier than drilling them, of course, as long as you don't have a 10 cut. So that's all I've got for this one. If you guys have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments, and till next time, we will talk to everybody later.